We consider to go through the afternoon. If the audience comments get out of order, we may limit the comments or we may suspend the comments. Please be respectful. Secondly, if a point has already been made and discussed, let's not keep hammering the same ground. And third, if we get into a time limit situation, reserve the right to limit you to 5 minutes per person, but that's not going to be initially just till we start to run late. At this time, we're going to turn over to Donna for some information for you folks. And then after we go through this, we'll get down towards the end and we'll have the audience discussion.
Well, I'd like to thank everybody for coming this afternoon. This workshop was originally scheduled to work on a possible job description for office help for us upstairs as an interim position. Some things have changed since Friday. We received a resignation from Carlin, who was the interim 4-H person upstairs. What happened after that was Saturday, first thing in the morning, the county commissioners received a letter from Bill Noble, the director, and I can read that to you. And what was forwarded to me on the same day was a letter from Jean Glowacki, director of the 4-H Youth Development. I just want to make everybody aware of the fact that she did not contact the county commissioners as Mr. Noble did. Okay? So, let me just read Mr. Noble's letter for those who may not be aware of it. Dear County Commissioners, in response to the resignation of support staff in the Custer County CSU Extension Office, I'm writing to inform you of CSU's next steps. Effective immediately, all 4-H operations will temporarily be suspended in Custer County. All other extension operations, with the exception of 4-H, were previously suspended with the reassignment of the Custer County Director in March. With the suspension of 4-H activities, all extension activities in the county are temporarily suspended. Extension and 4-H are the exclusive programs of Colorado State University, and all related activities in the county shall not continue until Custer County Commissioners and CSU Extension have completed necessary steps to ready the program for continuation. The following steps will be necessary before resuming 4-H programs. The hiring of a new support staff person by Custer County for the CSU Extension Office. Before any 4-H operations may resume, that person must undergo training by CSU Extension on the Fort Collins campus. At the conclusion of training, that person must work closely with and report to CSU regarding resuming 4-H operations and in all future operations of 4-H in the county. Once these steps have been accomplished, CSU will make every effort to resume 4-H operations as quickly as possible. CSU will also begin the process to hire a county extension director in late summer or early fall. Due to the required state hiring practices, this process will take several months and a new director would likely be named by winter or early spring 2018. Following a successful hiring process, extension-related programs and operations will resume in Custer County. We understand that youth in Custer County may want to pursue 4-H activities this summer. However, at this time, there is no availability to support Custer County 4-H operations through neighboring county CSU Extension offices. It is unfortunate that youth within the county will be impacted by this turn of events. During the temporary suspension, CSU maintains ownership of all 4-H and Extension operation records kept within the county office. Thank you, William Noble. Ms. Glowacki's letter. Dear Custer County 4-H youth and families and 4-H volunteers, as you may know, the resignation of support staff in Custer County CSU Extension Office will have a significant impact. Can I ask a favor? I know we have to keep one per shut. Could you please close that door? Thank you. Reread that. As you may know, the resignation of support staff in Custer County CSU Extension Office will have a significant impact on 4-H within the county this summer. The support staff person was currently in charge of the 4-H program. Without someone in that position, CSU has no choice but to temporarily suspend operations of the Custer County Extension Office, which means that the 4-H program, operations, activities, and events are also now suspended. While it is our hope the 4-H programs will resume soon, the timeline for that happening is not yet known. To resume the 4-H program in Custer County, a new support staff person will need to be hired by the Custer County for the CSU Extension Office. That person will also need to complete training on the CSU campus to effectively run the 4-H program. Once those key events take place, 4-H activities can resume under CSU Extension's guidance, and CSU will make every effort to resume 4-H operations as quickly as possible. CSU also will begin the process to hire a Custer County Extension Director in late summer or early fall. Due to required state hiring practices, this process will take several months, and a new director will likely be named by winter or early spring 2018. Following a successful hiring process, other extension-related programs and operations will resume in Custer County. We understand that the youth in Custer County may want to pursue 4-H activities this spring, summer, and summer. However, at this time, we are unable to support Custer County 4-H operations through neighboring county CSU Extension offices. It is our hope that the county hire is made in time to resume 4-H activities without significant impact to youth in the area. If you have questions regarding this temporary suspension, you may contact me. When we first scheduled this, what we had in mind was to review a statute that was brought to our attention. That statute.
Sorry, I turned it off.
That statute is number 30-11-107, Powers of the Board. I'm going to specifically address item N as in Nancy. To create by resolution duly adopted the office of County Manager or Administrative Assistant to the Board of County Commissioners or County Budget Officer or any other such offices as may be, in its judgment, be required for the effective or efficient management of the business and concerns of the county. When so created, the board has the power to make appointments to such offices, to prescribe the duties to be performed by such appointees, to fix the compensation to be paid to such appointees, and to pay the same from the county general fund. Any persons appointed to such offices shall reserve at the pleasure of the Board of County Commissioners. So that's what we were going to be addressing today, and we're still going to address that. So, in lieu of the circumstances, I first would like to say, number one, is I think it was very inconsiderate of Ms. Glowacki to not have a conversation with the county commissioners before this letter was distributed to the 4-H youth, families, and volunteers. Actually, I think her actions were preposterous. I'm sure not just myself, but my fellow colleagues here, our phones were ringing off the, I don't know what else I want to say. Ringing off the...
Out of your pocket.
Out of your pocket, and they continue to do so today. I've actually gotten correspondence from people in our community that are saying, when is the group going to go up to Fort Collins and express the concern of the effect of these letters going out to our youth and our family and our volunteers who have spent thousands of dollars on their animals. Before I continue, I'd like to hear comments from my colleagues.
This is a very unfortunate situation. And the brunt of this is going to potentially be felt by our youth. The removal of the extension agent was made by CSU. I'm not passing the buck. We went, the three of us, went to Denver to talk to the president of CSU to express concerns we had with personnel issues between the county and the CSU employee, because the CSU employee was the person who reported to us. Robin, that's who I'm talking about, of course. At that discussion, the president of CSU, Dr. Frank, stated that he felt there was not a good fit between the county and Robin, and that he felt that a change in that position was probably warranted. Decision he made based upon the concerns that we brought to him. So while I am not saying they did it, I'm passing the buck, I'm not doing that. We went there with our concerns. It was his decision that a change needed to be made. Subsequently, additional activities took place, some of which were the exact concerns that we addressed with him, Dr. Frank, when we met with him in Denver, and we found that the situation was becoming untenable, and we corresponded with him again, and he said, we need to make this decision immediate. We three did not say, don't do that. We said, do what you feel is appropriate. Again, I'm not passing the buck. We initiated this based upon discrepancies between Robin and the commissioners in the county. That was done pretty quickly. She got a letter and was out very, very soon after that. The assistant in the CSU office, Ms. Cardenas, stepped up to the plate and was doing a good job. I was very disheartened when I heard that she left. That was not precipitated, in my opinion, by anyone on this tribunal saying to her, we want you to leave. I can't speak for them, certainly wasn't coming from me. And recognize that this is going to put a problem with our youth in 4-H, because Ms. Cardenas was going to help the 4-H continue through the summer while we go through the process of getting a new CSU extension agent. So that's kind of the background of where we are. We do have some ideas. We're very limited in speaking between ourselves because of the open records law, and we adhere to that to the best of our ability. So we call a workshop to discuss what our options are going to be. It's certainly open to the public, and that's why we're very glad you're here. It's very heartening to know that so many people care so much that you come on a, what is today, Tuesday afternoon, to sit here and listen to how we're going to do our best to get 4-H working again. So thank you for coming, and this is a workshop. Our object is with legal counsel to figure out how we can resolve this. I'll just reiterate what Commissioner Hood said. I think it would have been more appropriate for Mr. Nobles and for the other person, I don't remember the name, I'm sorry, to have contacted us and spoke to us and said, how can we resolve this, rather than put out a blanket letter to everybody going, too bad, it's over. Well, maybe in their eyes it is, in ours it's not, so we're going to work from there. That's what I have to say. Thank you.
This is an example, folks, of what we've been encountering for the last 2 or 3 years. We've had many meetings, numerous meetings with Bill Noble, asking to help fix things. He never did anything. We went to CSU to meet with Tony Frank and Lou Sullivan, who's the vice president for Extension. Mr. Sullivan chose not to attend the meeting, but that is the chain of command that we follow. I'm not only upset at what they did Friday, but I've got other adjectives that I probably shouldn't say to describe how upset I am. I thought of a number of different options we're going to pursue, and I will, by golly, pursue them. First of all, this is a state-funded program and a nationally funded program, and it is a cooperative program. Dr. Frank assured us that it would be a partnership going forward, and you can see this has not been the case. Areas that I'm looking at, obviously we'll be in contact with Larry Crowder and Jim Wilson, our Senator and Congressman. But I also have a very good friend. His name is Jerry Sonnenberg. Jerry's a senator of northeastern Colorado. Jerry and I have known each other for over 40 years. We have reestablished contacts since I've been back in the state. And he sits on the appropriations bill. The way we got this position funded the first time around was through the senator, so the CSU could not jerk this position away and put the money someplace else. This is back in 1976, I guess. I feel what they've done is just kicked our youth in the mouth, and I'll be damned if I'm going to stand for it. Our youth have invested money in this, in their projects. We've invested time. Parents have invested money. And there's no way that I'm going to stand by and let CSU arbitrarily say, well, we're not going to do this, and you're suspended, and if we hire anybody, we got to do this. If we hire someone that has the adequate experience, knowledge to do it, I'll pound on every desk that I need to pound on. We made a decision that we felt needed to be made, and we still stand behind that, and that was to visit with Dr. Frank. Now, many of you have communicated through social media many thoughts and ideas and opinions, and there's some things that we can't get into, but I can tell you that this was not made capriciously. This meeting with Dr. Frank was set up and occurred before we had the meeting here regarding the foundation. This preceded that. It wasn't precipitated by it. It preceded it. So I think you can see, if you look at this, as we've explained right here just in the last week, this wasn't something that happened at 4 o'clock on Friday afternoon. This was something that had been underway all week long. I don't want to go where or how, whatever, but for this to come out and us not be a part of it is not acceptable. And we will be visiting with Mr. Frank. We will be visiting, if we can't reach a resolution, we will be going up the line. And I don't know if I'm almost afraid to say this, but I'm hoping with you folks, if it comes down to seeking some kind of legal action, I'm going to support that too. Because this is a disservice to the professionalism of the leaders, the work of the youth, and of the county officials. We do have some things that I think we can maybe visit and pull together that might surprise you. But I I'm gonna turn this back over to Donna and let her go on from there.
I just want to say that, of course, the county commissioner's objection and goal is to always be as transparent as possible. So with the news that was given to us Saturday, I did an outreach yesterday. Too much has happened. Yesterday, to Beverly, who was our office manager for over 20 years. And I do want to say that yes, if we pursue asking her to come back to help, she's going to help us. So I wanted to give that information today. We've also reached out to Miss Sarah Shields. All of you know Sarah sitting in this room. It's our opinion that those two will help us get back to where we need to be in a very short period of time. So I just wanted to bring you up to date. So now we have two descriptions, which will be not extension office positions, okay? We have to have the conversation as we stated. I'll probably be calling Mr. Tony Frank myself shortly. What I'm hoping they do is cooperate in saying that Beverly, who has been with us for over 21 years, certainly has the experience of helping us on a temporary basis with our 4-H program. And I'm just curious, how does everybody feel about that?
When did she contact Mr. Nobles first? About Beverly?
I will go through the right
Okay.
channels to do that. Actually, I don't believe it's Mr. Nobles. I think it would be Miss Glowacki.
Could be, yeah.
Yes, since she's 4-H.
But at the same time, if we have someone that's qualified,
Yeah.
all that deal would do, I'm gonna fight tooth and nail. Because that person, we don't need to send them to CSU. We don't need to go through that program, because she knows it.
Yeah, for sure.
And my intent is to get this done as quick as we can. Make a comment, and I have another question here, guys.
I want to bring it back to a workshop as opposed to a public conversation. As a workshop, I want to talk to you about what it is you're discussing, how it would work, and where we as a group of 3 commissioners want to go with it. So you're identifying 2 individuals in the community that you feel could handle the 4-H or the entire extension office at this point?
This is an extension. The extension position has to go through extension, okay?
Okay.
This would be, as I mentioned in this would be 2 people appointed by us to keep the county going as far as our 4-H, because Beverly has that 4-H experience.
Gotcha.
And Sarah helping in any way we deem her to help.
Gotcha. So the suggestion is, because we have not discussed this because of the open meeting record, so I'm being caught up to speed. So the suggestion is, if these 2 folks are willing to step in and help us continue our 4-H for this year, if we can get concurrence from the CSU folks, is that where you're heading with this?
That's where I'm headed.
I'm sorry?
That's where I'm headed with the phone call.
Okay, that's what I want to make sure I fully
Yeah,
understood.
I mean, because Ms. Glowacki and Mr. Nobles identify new staff person, because they did not communicate with us, that would have been the first person I would have suggested was
Gotcha.
Beverly. So I
And-
didn't have that opportunity.
And what, I'm just still trying to understand where you're coming from. And the advantage of these folks is that extensive training and up in Fort Collins and all the stuff we read in the letters probably is not a necessity, since they have the experience and the background to continue to operate the 4-H program here in Custer County. Is that a fair statement?
I believe so. Ms. Shields has been a 4-H leader for many, many years. She is currently a 4-H leader now. She knows our families. She knows our youth. To me, she would be an asset to help us.
Okay, so what we're really, what your goal then would be with Dr. Frank is for him to say that he would accept her as our interim 4-H?
No, not Sarah.
no.
He doesn't have anything to do with Sarah, Jay.
Okay, that's what I'm
Who
trying
he
to
has,
understand.
who he has to do with is Beverly, retired office manager for over 21 years with our county, who manned that position for 4-H. What I would like to
Okay.
ask
I wasn't
him is,
clear on
in
that.
lieu of not hiring somebody new, that if she comes on board with us, are we still required to send her on campus, which is what these two folks have stated in their
Right. And if he's in concurrence with that, the question would be, can we then move forward with our 4-H program as we have it
Correct.
going? I'm with you now. Thank you. I wasn't sure where you were.
Another part of that same scope, folks, is that we have a county fair, that's fine, it's a county fair. But I'll be danged if those folks are gonna be prohibited or discriminated against going to the state fair. That's an additional part of the 4-H program. And I don't think, having spent over 20 years in extension, I don't think that what we're asking is unreasonable. We have people that have the experience, and they could go forward. Now, I want to hold off just a second on pursuing our discussion. Don Camper's been very patient here. He's held his hand a couple of times. In out of respect, Don, would you like to say something?
Well, listening to what you're saying, this is if, right now, of where you're at.
Right.
Yeah, and only time's gonna, define that, whether we're gonna be able to have a 4-H fair and et cetera. And I guess, and maybe I'm out of line here. I'm really disappointed in our commissioners. I guess that 2 or 3 things here. I think, she was fired because you didn't see
She
eye
was
to
not
eye.
fired.
Well,
She was
that's
not
all.
fired.
He's talking about Robin.
That's
Yeah.
who I'm talking about. She was not fired by the county commissioners.
All right. Well, you put it how you want, I'll put it how I want. That'd be fair enough. And I guess what I'm trying to say is this, that, I know that she's still county agent, and the reason was because you couldn't see eye to eye, so you let her go. And at this point, she's still a county agent. That says to me that the extension, Colorado Extension Service, that she was not really out of line when doing her job. And as far as Carolyn, I wish, we're here on your side. I wish that she could be here to tell her side, because there's a little more in this, involved in this, than what you're saying from your side. And so...
It's a workshop, and we received a resignation on Friday, and we're taking action with the resignation.
And this is true, but I guess I feel like to a point that you are blaming her, and all I'm saying is that to a point you are. Don't,
How could that be, sir?
oh, I don't know, Donna. Only you know. But I'm going to say this, that and I'm only speaking for myself, that I am having heartache because 4-H was started in 1944 here. And I know because I was the first group that I started. And so, this has all happened. Our kids have bought steers, they bought 4-H animals, and and you said it yourself, it is hurting them, and so I guess all I'm saying is that I'm really disappointed in what has happened. I'm done.
Okay, I'm not going to have any more discussion. The reason I went to him, because Donna had asked if there was a comment. I think we need to finish this, and you'll have a chance as we go through the rest of this to, I mean, to reach out and touch it. But I think that's what we need to do. Folks, let me reiterate, and I don't know how to make this any more clear, Don. You and I have known each other all our lives.
True.
And one commissioner meeting we had, everybody that was for Robin was here presenting terms. The next day, everybody that was here, who had problems and issues and things that built up were here. And you know, we aired both sides. But we went to Bill Noble, who's her boss, 3 years ago. It was the first time I met with him, before I was a commissioner, about some things that I felt we needed to do to strengthen us. I have worked with county agents for over 20 years. I know what county agents can accomplish, and I know how critical it is to work together. We never got any responses, even by phone. I mean, that was her supervisor. So the next thing we went was, okay, we would like to have a meeting. So Tony Frank and Lou Sullivan, which is Noble's boss, were at that meeting. We said, okay, here's our concerns. We got to fix this somehow. Here's the issues we've got. And as we talked among us, and incidentally, Mr. Sullivan was too busy to attend the meeting. But as we talked among ourselves and Dr. Frank, he said, well, I said, we just need to fix this. And he made the remark, well, probably the best way to fix it is to have some reassignment and clear the slate and go forward. So you're sitting here, everybody sits there and says, well, the commissioners fired her. We didn't. We went to the president of the CSU. We have no control over Robin.
That's right, you went over
We
her head.
have, pardon me? We went over her head? No, sir, we did not go over her head. We went through her boss.
Went over her head.
And I take exception to that, Don, but that's all right. The other thing we did, we followed the protocols from CSU. So those of you that sit here and say, we fired her, are wrong.
I've been wrong before in my life.
Okay, let's move on. I don't want to get down into, we can do this a bit later. But Don had raised his hands a couple of times and I wanted to recognize it on a courtesy. Okay, Donna, do you have anything else you want to?
I would just, because we have allotted this time, I would like to look at not just one job description, but two now. So I'd like to move along those lines.
Okay.
Have you both had a chance to look at what was established? I mean, we're not looking to mimic.
I want to clarify just a minute. What we're doing, we have the authority and the responsibility of hiring the office administrator. CSU doesn't. That's a county responsibility. We're looking at that. Second thing, we have the authority to hire a county agent, not an extension agent. And this has been done many, many, many times. As an example, in Colorado, we had when I was a county agent, we had a very extensive corn research project. We'd get grants to do research on 200 bushel yield corn. And this involved tens of thousands of dollars. And we hired county people to form in that county agent position to work on those projects. So from the standpoint of what can we or can we not do, where does it fit? I don't want anyone confusing that, well, we're going to hire an extension agent. We're not. But we have a need of stuff that needs to be covered. And I think we have a person who's come forward who certainly would have that ability. But we need to sit down and decide collectively what this is going to look like. We're not going to do all the things we did before, but we're going to do a lot of them. And I don't see Sarah's position as being strictly 4-H. Sarah has a bachelor's and a master's degree. All of you know her in the Valley. She's a very intelligent, very experienced lady, and I think offers us a lot to come forth. So that's where we are right now. Okay.
I have read the job description for the Extension Office, Secretary Office Manager as it exists today. Like I've said before, I'm not really up to speed that much on extensions of 4-H, but I'm getting there. But based upon my conversations with Ms. Cardenas and what she does and how she does it, or did it, I think this job description appears to me to be comprehensive and appropriate. I didn't see any changes, but I certainly welcome those of you who know better to tell me how to make the changes.
Brenda, would you print me off those 2 copies? I can't get mine to load. Or do you have them?
I don't know if I have them. Yeah. Because, Jay, these are two interim positions.
I understand.
Okay, they're interim.
I'm with you.
So what I would suggest is that wherever it mentions an extension agent, that come out of the job description.
Now, the only one I'm looking at this moment is the secretary office manager one.
That's the one I'm looking at.
Okay, good.
There are items in there that
I-
specifically relate to
I agree.
working with extension agent.
Yeah, so I see what you're saying. So since we don't have extension data, we take that out, and this would be the job description. I don't have a problem with that. That makes sense.
Anything else?
No, I'm fine with that.
Okay. You want to start to go down through there?
With just,
Let's do the office person first,
Okay.
because that is the first step that has to be fulfilled.
okay. So the essential functions of the position: to manage the office, inventory, and order supplies, provide information regarding extension services, and respond to general public requests. Provide secretarial/clerical support to county extension personnel and extension programming, educational programs.
Where you use the word extension, maybe we should say extension-like, because this is
Like,
not
that's what I was
extension.
gonna ask. So it is not, that's why I went.
Right, extension
whether to just
hyphen
remove it.
like might be
Okay,
better.
Well, wait a minute. If we hire her, it's the same as what we had.
Right.
And she had the authority to do some extension program.
we're talking about Beverly.
I understand, but they're kind of suspending everything
Right.
related to extension, so, I mean, perhaps if they'll allow that, we could certainly call it an extension services, but we're talking about either the term would be interim county agent
Interim.
or
Well,
county
no.
agent pro tem, either one would be, means temporary,
But
but however, go ahead, Bob.
But let's not get, that's
that's
the
two
other
separate
position.
things.
No, I understand, but
Okay.
I'm just talking about saying, I think what we were talking about initially, this would be an interim position as well. It could turn into a full-time, or will eventually.
For the position that's needed,
Right.
yes.
But my hope is that this person, so says Beverly would be, has indicated an interest and indicated ideas, that she has a few vacation days and trips in September and later. That would be well after the fair. And I would hope that this person we hire is actually the same position as what Carlin was in, because that was a county hire that was supported by CSU.
Okay.
And if we do that, that makes that she is an official representative.
Under those circumstances.
Under those
It's
circumstances.
appropriate to leave it as extension, use that word in there.
Only
Define it.
because of her experience.
Right, I understand. And I guess one other thing maybe we should talk about, right now we're contemplating this as hiring her as an independent contractor.
Correct.
Um,
Both of them,
Both positions.
yes.
So it doesn't have to be advertised or anything else. If you choose to hire an independent contractor, until everything's straightened out, we can do it that
And there
way.
will be no benefits associated with
Right,
it.
just 1099.
Right.
Okay.
So, question just in that matter, if at the appropriate time, if we wanted to make that independent contractor an employee, would we have to put it back out for bid?
Yes. Advertise the position and accept
Just wanted to make
applications.
sure.
Okay, under
What did you
characteristics,
just say?
If we hire someone as an independent contractor, we could do that just as you're hired to do the job. If at some point we decide to make it an employee.
Yes.
then you
Yes,
would
with
do
this
that
bid, it would
for
go
now.
out.
I didn't hear the employee part of that.
No problem.
Okay. All right, characteristics, duties, and responsibilities. The following statements are illustrative of the duties and responsibilities of the job. The organization retains the right to modify or change the duties and responsibilities of the job at any time. Number 1, greet customers, provide CSU fact sheets or other resources, answer office phone and routine telephone calls. Perform clerical duties for the office, including compile and maintain appropriate educational information packets, organize and maintain office mailing lists, correspondence, and materials, package and mail various samples to appropriate laboratories, maintain schedules and update calendars, process incoming and post outgoing mail, order and maintain office supplies, assist in compiling accurate, in quotes, year-end reports, assist in the administration of 4-H program, enrolling families, maintaining records, provide literature, a calendar of 4-H club activities and meetings, assist county extension agent with the Custer County Fair. So right there, I would say the county officer, whatever we want to label the other.
I like that.
Assist in compiling a monthly newsletter.
Hold on just a second. Would it be more clear if we said to assist, whatever title we put on this other position, with the 2017 Custer County Fair?
That's fine.
We're identifying specifically where it is. We're not saying we're going to go beyond that, but that is
Right.
in this position where this is only a county agent position, not an extension position, that identifies those where we're not stepping on that. Okay?
Okay. So assist in compiling the monthly newsletter. Provide staff support to county extension agent regarding assigned advisory groups. I don't know that that can be in at this point in time. To me, that should just be taken out. Maintain internal financial records and prepare vouchers for payment of invoices. That still has to be done. Assist office personnel with annual budget requests. Then the next subtitle under that is time commitments by responsibility. 30% provide quality customer service to public and office staff. 20% assist with the 4-H program and county fair activities. 20% assist in compiling and distributing monthly newsletter. 20% maintain office inventory and financial records. 10% other duties or assigned tasks.
I don't think you can do that for an independent contractor.
As far as the job description with the times,
Correct.
that makes sense. Thank you.
Thank you. We don't describe the job, we describe the tasks to be performed.
That's correct, and then they have to figure out how to accomplish them.
Okay? So then there's a section called knowledge, skills, and abilities. Knowledge of best practices in customer service. Adhere to state and county policies and procedures. Strong interpersonal and communication skills. Excellent problem-solving skills. Ability to work as a team member and independently. Ability to complete tasks within established deadlines. Knowledge of basic office equipment such as copier, fax machine, adding machines, etc. Knowledge and proficiency in using of various computer business-related software. Ability to prepare letters/contracts using the correct spelling, punctuation, and grammar. Ability to tactfully communicate with the public and coworkers.
I guess-
Any issues
No,
with
that's
that?
I don't think we,
That's fine.
would you say you're okay with that?
Yep.
Is that too specific? I mean, we're hiring a contractor, shouldn't they already have some of this?
Well, yes, they should.
No,
Yeah,
They
you
say
need to
that that's
say
what
it.
you're looking
It's not all
for.
legal counsel.
Yeah.
I think we ought to
Yeah.
let's do this.
Okay.
I think we're all right going this step?
Well, we're coming up with a description that's going to carry over, so we ought to have it.
Okay, good.
This was the original,
Right.
okay? Skills required after an initial training period. Knowledge of state extension personnel policies and procedures. Knowledge of county extension programs and advisory groups.
This is all fine because this is for a permanent position. For independent contractor, you know, we can make it a little shorter, I guess. But
Okay.
this is our permanent policy.
Right. Well, then, with regards to that, then the job description needs to go back the way it said as far as time constraints, if you're looking at it that way.
Right, then our contract with our independent contractor can say some of these are not applicable.
Okay. Qualifications: high school diploma or equivalency, Colorado driver's license. And physical requirements: while performing the duties of this job, the employee is regularly required to sit, talk, hear, and see using close and medium range vision. The employee is frequently required to view computer keyboards and monitors. Could I ask, is there an issue?
Just the vision thing we were just laughing at.
Okay.
We expected missiles.
Okay.
Did you say?
I'm hearing chatter and I was wondering what the issue was. Okay? The employee is frequently required to view computer keyboards and monitors. The employee is sometimes required to perform repetitive motions typing on computer keyboards. The employee is sometimes required to drive to off-site locations. The employee must have the ability to climb stairs and lift and carry 50 pounds occasionally, 25 pounds frequently, and 10 pounds consistently. Performance and reviews. This position is subject to periodic performance reviews. The post-introductory period evaluation will also review the supervisory.
If we're making this as a contract for Beverly, I don't think either one of those are appropriate.
Now, this isn't the
This is not
contract.
the contract.
This is the job description for whoever's
Okay.
going to take, the contract's going to have to be different. This is just job description.
So some of the things in the contract may not include all the things in the job
Correct.
description.
That-
We'll
yeah,
write
that's
an
what-
independent
That's where-
contract position, telling them the duties we expect them to do,
Right.
and it'll be their responsibility just to get them done.
Great. Under this job description, the pay schedule was 40 hours per week with some seasonal adjustments as necessary. And then the rate of pay and benefits.
Well,
Did you want to see the same comments and suggestions on this? Do we have any comments or suggestions? Yes, Peggy?
Given that time is of the essence, why don't you place that phone call to Tony right now? Because you're unlikely to get in touch with him right away.
I don't know that I can do that in a work session, Peggy.
It will be done ASAP. And if we have to get in the car, or if I have to get in the car or whatever and drive to Fort Collins, I already have my tank full. I want this done ASAP.
The other thing that you have to understand is this is a work session. We would have to come out of work session in a regular meeting to take action.
And we can't do that because we don't have one scheduled until tomorrow morning.
Got it.
Okay.
All this stuff that we have to work through, it's challenging sometimes. Does anyone else have any thoughts of what we did here? Yes, Tom?
I admire and think Beverly would be very good for the job. My question is, why do you think CSU would approve her if she's going to report to a competitor for CSU?
She's not reporting to a competitor.
If you hire a manager?
She's reporting to the county commission.
Okay, but if you hire Shields, Shields would be a competitor to CSU. Why would CSU approve that?
That is not a competitor, John. It's somebody that's going to be hired.
As soon as
to
CSU
help
can get us a
the
county agent, that's it.
seize the floor. Donna.
I'm not understanding why you're saying that Sarah would be a competitor.
because she doesn't work for CSU.
Maybe we didn't make ourselves clear in opening statements. When I read the statute, it said the county commissioners can hire,
A competitor.
not a competitor. Do you want me to reread it? Because maybe
No.
you didn't hear it.
No, that's fine. Whatever you think.
Well, it talks about creating a position or creating a temporary position
Right.
until CSU can fill the extension position
Right.
again.
So she's not a competitor.
In your eyes.
That's
I'm
Let's
just
move
curious.
on.
Yeah, no, I'm just curious. Does anybody else have that same opinion? Thank you. I'll move on.
It sounds like you're going around CSU. I'm confused with how you do it.
Okay, if I may, here's what we're doing. Right now, CSU says, we can't get you any help
Right.
until next year, okay? We need to keep these programs going. And we have every right as a county to keep them going. So what we're doing are two things, this two-pronged approach. Number one is taking Beverly, who has had, she should have all the qualifications after all the years she's been in that office, qualified to do the job, okay? And that's the same as it was when we hired Carlin, because that's a county hire. Only in the meantime, we don't have an extension agent because they're in the process of trying to hire one. So in the meantime, we are, on an interim basis, hiring a county employee to perform those duties that were not able to be performed. And we still will expect extension. They said they will support programming in extension prior to Carlin leaving, with support from outside counties. And when we run into areas of expertise, I fully intend to hold that accountable, because that's what you do with extension. We've worked across county lines many, many times. And there's another thing you folks need to be aware of. And it's kind of interesting, but I understand there are, was it 19 open positions?
No, no.
How many?
There were 9. We were number 8 with 7 ahead of us, and Robin just replaced one of those extension agents. So we've just moved up to 6.
But there's a large turnover. I mean, that's unusual to have that many extension positions open in a state at one time. But that's just an FYI. Okay, let's continue on.
Any other comments?
I guess maybe I just wanted to point out that it doesn't just affect 4-H. You've got a school program in FFA that is subject to this county fair as well. So the umbrella of this employee to run the county fair is for 4-H
And
and
FFA.
FFA.
The employee does not have, this employee will not run the county fair. Will run the 4-H entries and qualifications and projects in the fair, but the fair is administered by the fair board.
Fair board.
But that needs to be addressed, that there is other kids just besides FFA or 4-H, meaning FFA, that are affected by
Right.
this whole thing as well.
Your point is extremely well taken.
And
Mayor.
that's why it's not just, everything's 4-H. No,
She's right.
and that's, they need that fair too. And there will be a fair.
Correct.
Yeah, that's
That's all I need to say.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate that comment.
Any other comments on that job description? Yes, sir.
I think we've kind of captured the, excuse me, did I see your hand there?
You did.
Go ahead.
So I understand that the county is trying to appoint a position to take the place of extension and 4-H. But that's, even if it's Beverly and Sarah, that's only possible if CSU approves those individuals for that position to handle 4-H.
They don't have a damn thing to say about Sarah. That's a county employee.
Okay, but whoever handles 4-H.
That's the phone call I was talking about making earlier. That's how I opened up.
So what's your plan if they say no? They say no to Beverly, she has to go redo all the training.
Next, I call Jerry Sonnenberg and the other politicians I know, and I
We'll
will
be
seek
heading
some
north.
of the legal relief, and I will damn sure call every newspaper and television station I can.
Okay.
Does that answer that?
I'll make that answer.
I'm serious. And I think what they've done here showed that they really don't want to have this as a partnership.
They don't believe you want to.
Pardon me?
They don't believe you want to.
And what basis do you have of saying that, sir?
They don't need us?
No.
They don't believe that you, the county, want to have the correct partnership with Extension and 4-H.
That's fine, I'll accept your statement, that's not as we're looking at it, that's fine. Let's move on with.
Okay, the next one? Okay. So, this next one, Clint, let me understand this. You're gonna have to start from scratch on this next one because this other one is labeled Extension Agent / Director. And that's supposed to be a joint effort from both CSU and us. In reviewing what was on the books for where Robin was, I saw some things on here that did not occur in her description. But I mean, when I had talked to the group by a conference call, they had said that they would be putting together a job description.
When you say the group, who are you talking?
From the conference call that I made with Ms. Olaki, Mr. Nobles, the HR person, and an administrative assistant, and that was about 2 months ago, and I reported that step-by-step process at that point in time.
Well, I think as far as a job description for the extension agent, that could be put on hold for right now. We need to have a basic description for the interim county agent.
Yeah, it's totally,
Right.
I mean, CSU is gonna tell us what they want, we're like damn well input into it.
Right, but
Right,
that can
but
go on.
for what we're talking about for Sarah's position as a county agent.
Right.
If you want, I can go through what was in here and just take
Maybe
that.
maybe Brenda could print another copy since I
Okay.
don't have that, so I can look at it with you and
Okay.
if she's still here.
She's not.
Okay.
Do you know how to use that
Is it
code?
appropriate to record?
I can do it.
A little bit.
You're getting to know a lot more right now.
How many do you want?
Do you all need them?
2 or 3, I guess. I appreciate your patience, folks. Want to open that door? It's not too noisy out there. Let's open it
And I
somewhere.
gotta go back to, I have another meeting.
Oh, excuse me, really personal.
Yes. I can hear you. Yes.
Thank you. What's Thank you.
That copier is not working real well. So that's what's
Fine.
I still didn't get one.
Here.
Oh, my original.
I lost your original.
I lost my original.
We're fine.
While you're making copies,
Kelly's making a couple of copies.
while you're making copies, may I just tell you what my interest in 4-H is? I'm secretary of the Sangre Shooting Club, and the 4-H program is a very big part of our range. We have a grant application out right now which requires that we use the range for public events, and 4-H is one of ours. Sheriff is another, but if we don't have 4-H, then our grant has to be pulled.
Well, I think we're going to be down.
I just
Within a
wasn't
week,
sure
I
that
hope.
you guys knew that.
Yeah. They pulled some stuff that, I mean, we had nothing until Friday afternoon. And I actually got this correspondence Saturday morning. But
I still will restate that I think it was preposterous that that email went out the way it did. The upsetment that it caused in this valley for the parents and the children, not acceptable.
You don't
And
think that we had a
that's a
right to know?
partnership. Excuse me?
You don't think we had a right to know his leaders and his parents?
Oh, I think you have the right to know, but I also think the county commissioner should have been included.
I'm not saying you shouldn't have, but the way you're coming across is we didn't have a right to know
No,
until
no,
you
no.
guys
No,
had a
that's
right
not
to
what I
know.
said at
No,
all.
no, that's not it at all.
That's the way it came across, Donna, was that
Sorry.
it was, you guys needed to know before anybody
No,
else
I
so
did
that you
not
could
say
figure
that.
out what to tell us, and that's how it came out.
I am saying that we were not included in this correspondence,
Okay?
okay?
If they just sent it to us at the same time, what we got was from another leader forwarding it.
Well, I know that you guys got one from Bill Noble, and then we got the one from Jane Kowicki. But she sent that to us as leaders so that we would know what to do, so that we weren't going out and having practices without 4-H insurance and
At the
without
same
4-H
time,
backing us.
they owed us a courtesy of saying what they were doing. But no, we want you to have you have every right to receive this like you did. Want to go on? You're waiting
Well,
for a copy?
we're waiting for them.
This is your copy?
No, I have
You have
my
a
copy.
copy?
You got a copy? You got a copy?
I got
Every
two,
copy.
I've got two now, so.
All right, go ahead.
Okay. So this is titled Extension Agent / Director. Purpose of position, to provide leadership, guidance, direction, and implementation of extension programs in Custer County. This includes serving as a knowledge resource person in natural resources and youth development, and assisting citizens to access the knowledge resources of Colorado State University. Responsibilities. The individual in this position works as a member of a team of professionals under the supervision of the regional director, is a local representative of Colorado State University, and carries out the duties and responsibilities associated with the administrative leadership normally assigned to an extension unit. There is also potential for a joint appointment in an appropriate department in the College of Agricultural Sciences upon the review and approval of the department's faculty. Provide countywide non-credit educational programming in natural resources and 4-H youth development. Address issues affecting the citizens of the county involving the management and quality of the natural resources, primarily land and water. This includes weed management, interactions with wildlife, and small acreage management. Provide opportunities for 4-H youth, leaders, and parents through a combination of organized clubs, popular projects on livestock, including judging and home economics, and K through 12 projects. The goal of expanding the involvement, reach, and effectiveness of the 4-H Youth Development Program. Facilitate monthly Custer County Economic Development Committee meetings. Sit on the steering committee for the board of the Custer County Economic Development Council. I just want to interject something here. That never happened. So that's something that I'm saying should be totally out. Work closely with the Board of County Commissioners, advisory groups, and local, state, and federal agencies in determining program needs and direction. Prepare and administer the county extension budget. Develop and/or utilize appropriate educational methods such as media, written material, and workshops to help educate target audiences. Contribute to the garnering of external funding, including grants, contracts, user fees, cash gifts, etc. Involve the general public through advisory committees in developing, delivering, evaluating, and reporting effective educational programming. Work effectively with extension personnel or professional in other counties to plan, implement, evaluate, and report programming efforts that address important issues on a multi-county basis. Maintain effective communication with Colorado State University personnel, community leaders, and local, state, and federal agencies, and organization to enhance strong program development, delivery, and evaluation. Assure compliance with civil rights and affirmative action plan policies, and provide leadership and assistance with other activities as assigned. Training and experience required. Completed master's degree required. Degrees may have been awarded in a number of different areas, but coursework, good?
No, keep on.
Okay. Completed master's degree required. Degrees may have been awarded in a number of different areas, but coursework and/or professional experience must provide a broad and significant understanding of natural resources / agriculture and rural economies. It is important that the educational background include the behavioral sciences and youth development principles as well. Knowledge of and experience with educational programming related to effective management of natural resources as indicated by experience and references. Experience and demonstrated ability in working with youth and youth organizational, including understanding of familiarity with youth development and youth program management, as indicated by experience and references. Demonstrated skill working with people as individuals, groups, and staff, and the ability to forge equitable partnerships with other professionals and organizations to accomplish tangible team goals, as indicated by experience and references. Understanding of different ethnic and socio-economic audiences. Commitment to include diverse voices in program prioritization and planning. And a commitment to developing and delivering both inclusive and targeted programming. Appreciation and understanding of rural communities, and an interest in working with people in a rural environment to address issues resulting from rapid growth. Evidence of drive and initiative as demonstrated by personal experiences and previous employment must be a self-starter. Leadership ability as demonstrated by professional experience and/or appointed / elected positions of responsibility. Ability to communicate, in parentheses, oral, written, listening, and public speaking / presentation skills, as demonstrated by formal training, experience, and application materials. Computer literacy as demonstrated by evidence of computer use in an educational setting, including but not limited to program development, delivery, and/or management. And there's a section called desirable. Demonstrated experience / training in the recruitment, training, and management of volunteers. Experience in needs identification, program development, delivery, and evaluation. Experience or training in promoting, marketing, or creating public awareness of programs / service among key community decision makers. Knowledge of weed and their control, and some knowledge of horticulture. Experiences in effectively translating and communicating technical information to lay people. Experience in reaching new and diverse audiences. Ability to organize, direct, and formulate organizational practices, including a budget, to supervise and motivate employees, and to establish and maintain effective working relationship with peers and staff, other departments and agencies, and the general public that inspires loyalty, excellence, and integrity. Successful experience in developing financial support for educational programs, including contracting, donor development, grantsmanship, or cost recovery efforts. Professional experience with or knowledge of extension and the land grant university system. Then we have physical requirements. While performing the duties of this job, the employee is regularly required to sit, talk, hear, and see, using close and medium range vision. The employee is frequently required to view computer keyboards and monitors, The employee is sometimes required to drive off-site locations. The employee is often required to think during highly stressful, crisis-type situations while maintaining composure and calmness. Must be able to lift/carry 15 pounds frequently and up to 50 pounds occasionally. Background check. The successful candidate will be required to undergo an investigative background check. Performance reviews. This position is subject to periodic performance reviews. The post-introductory period evaluation will also review the supervisor, communication, and community interactive skills. Pay schedule/benefits based on full-time employment, 24 working days, vacation each year, 15 sick day leave, enrollment in group health, life, and accidental insurance, various requirement plans, work injury benefits, and disability insurance are all available. Available personnel transportation required. Travel allowance provided. Colorado State University provides an allowance for moving new employees. All administered through CSU. Supervision. CSU Southern Regional Director and the Custer County Board of County Commissioners. That's the supervision of this position.
We want to try to identify some of the responsibilities that we, under a county position.
Yes.
Okay, I've got some suggestions as we go forth on that. And I've tried to summarize some of the things that are here and make it a little more generic. First of all, I would say that assist in adult and youth educational programs. Whatever we need in those program areas, this person will assist in them. Teaming with the Secretary Office Manager to facilitate all existing 4-H programs. The reason I'm saying it from that standpoint is that the office manager is the one that has the 4-H responsibility, because CSU says that, and that this agent will work with that person to make that happen. We're not saying we're going to do it. We're acknowledging that they will work with the office manager,
Yeah.
who is the certified person for the extension programs. Work with producers in Custer County to assist with production issues. Work closely with the BOCC to establish goals. Work with the BOCC to develop a budget and to explore supplemental funding opportunities. I think that kind of summarizes most of what we're doing here without all the specifics. And I think it's important we keep this fairly simple.
Yep.
We can go down some more issues, but I tried to just take what you read here, Don, with all the activities and summarize it into 4 or 5 areas. Now my thoughts, Fred, isn't it? My thought here, assist in adult and youth education programs. If we need a program for something, or we need to spray grasshoppers, or we need whatever, that this person will be in a position to assist us in education or whatever we need to do with that program. And the other thing I think is important, I said work with producers in Custer County to assist with production issues. I'm not talking just about the large one. I'm talking about the small farms, the individual ones that we had identified here. I don't know if this really needs to be, one of the things we have in the CSU and is interaction with wildlife. I'm not sure that really is a critical part of ours at this point in time, because we do have wildlife specialists at CSU and so forth. If it's interaction with wildlife regarding youth, or if you're trying to work out a program for grazing or whatever, put in hedgerows or windbreaks or whatever to attract livestock, wildlife, that's fine. Will not be involved with the Custer County Economic Development Council. I sit on the steering committee. This hasn't been happening, and CSU was real big on economic development, and some actually have economic development specialists on staff. But in this case, it's too broad and too thin, I think, to include that. And work with the county commissioners and other groups, the advisory council, if we have one, the local, state, federal, I mean, whoever else we need to make that picture, that person.
Question. Are you seeing this position as an independent contractor, as an employee?
I'm seeing this position, well, I guess we need to talk about that.
Well, for right now.
For right now, it's an independent contractor.
Independent contractor, that's what the two have to be, because they're interim.
Now, there's one other part of this, and folks, I'm just saying this, but if we look at the requirements here for the job description, if it's not changed dramatically, Sarah meets every one of these. She has the experience to do that. So, I don't know where they're gonna go when they get down. We don't get to select the candidates. They go through first and select them and send them down to us. But anyway, that's, okay, what do we want to next?
We can't really have an action here, so this was.
No, but I mean,
a
are we,
session.
we're still
Yeah, I mean,
comfortable where we are here?
that's what we wanted to accomplish.
I think one thing we need to do in both of these job descriptions, where you're talking about the physical requirements of the job, there should be a sentence that reasonable accommodation will be made to comply with requirements of the American with Disabilities Act. Because we're talking about hearing and vision, that kind of could exclude some people, so we need to put that language in.
Don, are you taking note of that?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. I'm going to say, any discussion on what Bob's comments were?
No, I think I'd like to discuss it further in an actual meeting when we can take some kind of action. What I think I've gleaned today is that we have some people who are eligible to, in an interim basis, help us through this crisis. That we're thinking to do it as an independent contractor. And that I think the most important thing that we've gleaned is that we're not just going to sit down and let.
But we can't do anything because we're not in an official meeting. This is only a workshop. Anybody like to make any comments?
I just thought of something.
Sure.
This independent contractor, Sarah, are you going to require time in the office?
Yeah, that's pretty much the whole point of this, is to have somebody else there.
And she's expressed a desire to do that.
Okay, well, I know Sarah.
Well, to make
Yeah.
make a long story short, I think that well, I don't know what's, Sarah's, I think, would fit both ways.
Yeah.
You don't think she'd be in the office?
Well, not until after calving.
But I think those are all, because they mentioned hiring some additional help if she
Yeah.
needed to, so that
Yeah.
she wasn't tied up on that end.
Yeah. She's a busy person.
Okay, anything else?
Is this going to be on the agenda for tomorrow's meeting?
Pardon me?
Is this going to be on the agenda for tomorrow's meeting?
This will be under old business tomorrow. And then we'll have to see what happens from there. We'll just have to see how far we go. I would hope that we can.
Depends on
quickly.
communication,
Hmm?
if I can get through.
Yeah.
I just have kind of a question. I noticed that some of the leaders, project leaders, are still going on with practices. Are they supposed to be?
I didn't hear what you said.
Some of the project leaders are still going on with practices. Are they supposed to be?
I think that's the individual leader. As a person working with youth, I see nothing that says that they shouldn't.
Okay, I just.
Now, CSU says, well, we're going to suspend the program. Well, that doesn't mean you suspend working with youth. It just isn't a 4-H club meeting.
But what if something happens to one of those youths?
Yeah.
While we're practicing, we're not underneath 4-H insurance. That's gonna come down on the county or on us leaders if something happens to those
Yeah,
kids.
I would say
So maybe we need to
suspend.
suspend it.
Yeah, you have to, I mean, that's
Good
why you
point.
got that letter.
Well,
I got the letter to
But-
suspend.
Yeah.
Good point.
To abide by CSU, they want it suspended. I had to cut my practices.
Well, I assure you that this, we're gonna do everything we can to work through the channels. At the same time, I spent over 25 years in extension. I probably have more experience than most of the county agents in the state. I probably have more experience than the district director has. I know what can be done, I know what needs to be done, and if it isn't done at the state level, we'll go to the federal level.
I was just asking since we had weigh in and like I said.
I would say hold off from a liability standpoint.
Yeah,
I'm glad you brought that
I
up.
canceled mine, but I know that some, and then another question is, because I am a horse leader, I do have paperwork. Do I just hold on to this paperwork?
Yes, hold
Okay.
on, to hear from
I
us.
hope we have a resolution to this by the end of the week.
Okay, I just wanted to know, because I know we
I don't know if we will,
some
but
of
I'm
them
hoping
got
that's,
turned in, some wasn't able to be turned in, and so I'm holding on to these. I just, I don't want, if this all comes together like we hope it does, I don't want the kids that I have the paperwork to get,
here's the
in trouble.
worst case scenario, as I base it, and I'm just me, I don't have a silver ball. But if we hire Beverly, okay, the worst comes down to the bottom, is we have to send her to CSU for whatever training they deem necessary.
Mhm.
And then she's in.
And that's fine.
So I don't see where that, I don't see where that's any kind of a hurdle.
That's not gonna be before fair.
Pardon me?
That's not gonna be before fair.
It has to be.
Oh, yeah.
That's what's saying here. That's why we're doing what we're doing.
Oh, I understand, but
Yeah.
I'm just saying, to get her scheduled to do the training and get her through the
Oh, well,
training, it's
we'll
not
see.
gonna happen.
Well, that's why I'm making that phone call, because we're gonna hope that that experience gets waived in lieu of.
And Jerry Sonberg is on the Appropriations Committee.
Will you guys send out an email to the leaders saying?
Well, we don't have that, or that was in the office upstairs.
Okay,
So
if
we'll
I
have to
know
figure out
them,
the I guess we could put this on our
or
website.
the fair board or somebody?
I think your question is.
Maybe the Tribune will have that in the course.
Excuse me, I think your-
Well, I'm just trying to think, we can certainly contact the fair board, but I don't know if that's gonna reach everybody. I don't think
No, it
so.
won't go that way.
Well,
So
when the
how
fair
many
board
leaders?
does not communicate with the leaders or with the 4-H families or the FFA families, because they should be an open law, sunshine law meetings, but they don't put out their agendas or their minutes.
Okay.
I'm
How
on
many
the fair
leaders,
board, I
how
don't
many
get
leaders
paid.
do we have in the room? How many leaders? Could we get your information
Yes.
before you go? A way to contact you?
I'm on the fair board too, so if it goes that way.
Let's put it on the county
On the county
commissioner's website,
website.
because your point is well taken. We need to communicate this, and we want to communicate.
Well, I don't want kids being docked because, certain
agree
ones
with
saying, well, you didn't come and other ones
I
did.
agree
and-
with you.
And I'm not sure we have access to those records because CSU has possession of them.
Donna, you have a way of getting a hold of both of us and Friends of NRA, they have our emails.
Okay, but I was just gonna, if there's is there a piece of paper going around? Maybe a
Yeah, I
piece of
just
paper
sent
can go
that
around,
and they could put
then
it
it's an
on.
easy fix.
Okay? Thank you
Since
for your,
we're talking about the fair board, is there a way to get the fair board to publish their minutes and their agendas on the county website? I mean, they are a county-funded
I
board.
don't know,
Here's what I would,
don't know why not.
here's what I would
approach us.
recommend. If they're willing to do it, I think, I'm speaking for myself now, we can't even make a decision because we're not in a meeting. But I would think, for me personally, putting that on the commissioner's website certainly is fine with me, or a link to so that anybody can read it anytime. It needs to be open records, kind of like we're trying to do, and I think it's appropriate.
Because they were getting county taxpayer money.
I agree with you.
So,
No, I
Jay,
absolutely.
the fair board president would need to come and address that with us.
Well, I understand, that's what I'm saying,
Maybe.
if they'll agree. That was how I started.
Maybe we need to have the fair board report to us on a monthly basis,
Well,
just like we do all the other departments.
they had asked me to be the commissioner sitting at their meetings, so I was doing that in my reports.
And we do have FFA and 4-H as members of the fair board ex officio. So any communication that goes to FFA, I would hope gets down to the advisory. But again, we'll post out whatever we can. But both youth groups do have ex officio membership on the fair board. And that's critical because both have a very vested interest.
Well,
And
I've
the
got
fair
a
board
kid in
needs to
both,
accommodate
so
what
yeah.
those needs are. Okay? I declare the workshop adjourned then. Thank you.
Thank you guys for taking it so seriously.